Go ahead.
You get a screen that says, got it. Opposite way?
Yep.
Opposite way. Okay, thank you all for coming. It's our monthly roundtable for the Sons of Liberty District. And I'm glad to see some new faces, although I know you have things to do that specifically brought you to this meeting. You're welcome to come any month, every month, except July and August. We don't do this then. And there's still people checking in. I try to do an opening ceremony that isn't just rote or, so used to it, we don't pay attention to it. And the Pledge of Allegiance is a significant part of, I think, each opening ceremony. And so I have a list of things to open with instead of just saying, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. So you don't have to stand up, you don't have to salute yet, but so long as the principles of truth, justice, and charity for all remain deeply rooted in human hearts, our flag shall continue to be the enduring banner of the United States of America. Let us join in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. And if you'd like to join me in this remembering what we're doing all this for, what those guiding principles are and goals included or that make up our Scout oath and our Scout law. So, Scout sign, Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. Did I leave out anything in the Scout oath?
I don't think so.
To obey the Scout law?
And to obey the Scout law. So many people miss that word.
Full phrase. I get so far into it that I can't remember if I said that or not. Usually it is rote. It flows right through. So again, thank you all. Oh, we've got some more people. Steve, do you keep track of who all is in attendance? Does that come as part of being the host? Do you get a statement or can it generate that?
No, but we have it recorded, so.
You have it recorded?
I mean, we're recording the session, so if I really need to know who is here, I go back and watch the video.
Okay, because I try to keep it on paper. And I think Ken Fung, who is with us, but not by video, he always likes to have that list. I'm not sure what it gets used for, whether it's required somewhere.
I put it into Commissioner Tools in the roundtable.
What was that again?
I put it into Commissioner Tools for roundtable.
Into Commissioner Tools, okay. I know that it's somehow connected with being commissioner. But Ken is one of my assistant district commissioners, so we got ourselves covered. So at this point, I'll turn it back to Steve Sukikian, our district chairman, and Ron Hansen. I don't see you. Oh, there you are. Okay. The ship stands out more. Is our roundtable commissioner.
Okay, Steve, it starts right on it. There we go. You're on, Steve.
Take it away. Oh, it's me. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we want everybody to know that we moved the annual meeting and recognition event from April 8 to Thursday, May 9. which is a date we had already scheduled for the annual program kickoff. And we did that because we wanted to give people more time to nominate their fellow Scouters for awards that they may be deserving of. The District Award of Merit, the Charles A. Nason Award, an Outstanding Scouter Award, which is a general recognition. If you think somebody in your unit deserves recognition, tell us about it. Write us a letter or an email, and we'll recognize them. No specific criteria other than they impressed you. And then we have a new award that was begun last year called the Scouting Family Award, meant to recognize a generational involvement in scouting. And you can find more information about the awards and how to nominate people on the Sons of Liberty District page on the council website. Just navigate to the districts, find Sons of Liberty, and the awards information is there. And then also the introduction to outdoor leadership skills, or actually I think it's outdoor leader skills, which takes place June 8 and 9 at New England Base Camp. We want to encourage unit leaders to sign up for that, but it's not limited to Scoutmasters or Assistant Scoutmasters. Any adult with an active registration, particularly those who go camping or who attend meetings and help Scouts with advancement, really should sign up for the course, because it goes over the basic Scout skills needed for the early ranks, Scout tenderfoot, second class, and first class, and helps orient people to what it means to be a leader. And in fact, it's required training. Joe, you have a comment?
I just quick question. When it comes to IOLS, does that ever like expire, or is it just if you get it done once, you're good for the rest of the time?
It does not expire.
Oh, so even if I were, say, a Cub Scout leader thinking that maybe one day I might become a Scoutmaster or Assistant Scoutmaster, I could do that training in June. It would still count when, say, my daughter crosses over into Scouts BSA?
Exactly. It's preparation for the future. You may not be Assistant Scoutmaster. You might not be, in the queue to take over a year from now, but maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I'll tell you, it's not only in anticipation of becoming an actual leader, but it really helps to know what the Scoutmaster or Cubmaster, well, it's really Scoutmaster skills, what their job is, right? And what the basic skills are needed to be an outdoor leader, not just Scoutmastering. This is not Scoutmaster fundamentals, it's outdoor leader skills. So, even if you are just on the committee and you don't even get engaged with Scouts in the meeting, having this training under your belt helps you understand the role of the adults who do that. And I think it's important. Besides, who doesn't need to know how to start a fire? So that's those are my two plugs. Sign up again. Go to the district page on the Spirited Adventure website. Go to the Sons of Liberty page on district on the Sons of. Oh my goodness! Go to the Sons of Liberty district page on the Spirit of Adventure website, and on that page you'll find information to sign up for the May 9 annual meeting recognition event and district program kickoff, as well as how to nominate people. And please don't be shy about that. And information about a link to sign up for Introduction to Outdoor Leadership Skills. And now I believe I passed it over to Mr. Bowl for the Commissioner's report.
Okay. Well, I don't have much of a commissioner's report, except that, well, part of it is the rechartering of our units. That's one of our main goals for the first part of the year and the end of the calendar year, at least for now. I believe we've got all of our units have finished their online paperwork. And are, if they haven't already been processed, they should be by now, because National has changed over its computer system to do whatever from what they had to whatever they're supposed to have now. And we should be able to find ourselves in new lists. And that is an accomplishment, that National can get something converted, and everything else still works like it used to. But probably the most important thing right now is that we've got a new commissioner. I haven't made this as a formal announcement, but he's with us too as well. David Dudzinski has offered or requested to be a unit commissioner, and I'm trying to encourage him. I know I can't see him on my screen. I don't want to embarrass him too much. Oh, he's got a picture up, so I can't even see his real face. There you are, Dave. I don't want to embarrass him too much, but yes, he's willing to move up and join our small little band of commissioners that serve our units, as well as provide this roundtable. And there's some other things that we could be doing as well. But thank you, Dave, for stepping forward. It's sort of like one of those things where they ask for a volunteer and everybody else steps back and you're left the only one in the front, but maybe not. We'll see. But I'm encouraging everybody to join. And Joe Curran just sent me an email yesterday or this morning, I can't remember which, that he's got someone else that might want to be a unit commissioner, apparently former scout with Troop 7109. John Tumlin should get a rise. Somebody named Max. He's only in his 20s.
Max Batista is one of our Eagle Scouts.
There you go.
He graduated from Emerson. He makes movies.
Okay. Well, the unit folks might be seeing him around fairly soon, but the Commissioner College is coming up next month. Early, I think it's the 6th, Saturday the 6th. And I'm hoping that all the new commissioners can get their training right away, because any of you who've been through commissioner training know that it's a lot nicer when you do it with other people, live, in person, on site. You share more than just paperwork and video screens, so that they can build up their future network of interacting with people. There's a name for that called networking, but we do it in scouting too, as well as in business and education. So that's pretty much all I have for the commissioner's report. Anybody here for Cub Scouting? Anybody here for the roundtable as Cub Scout leader? No? Okay.
Meredith is raising her hand. Meredith Bollinger.
Oh, I can't see that. Okay. We're hoping to get the district Pinewood Derby going on Saturday, May 4th. I am still waiting for confirmation from my second choice of location. The first one never even bothered calling me back or doing anything to respond, which was the Watertown Mall, where we did it before COVID. And last year we did it at St. Camillus in Arlington, right along Route 2. And we're hoping to get the approval to use the church basement that Saturday morning, well, Saturday morning and afternoon, and have the district Pinewood Derby then and there. So I will be sending out the rules and the requirements and notifications and stuff pretty soon, once I get the firm date. It's been going slow. That would be part of the activities committee report, but we're not having that here. So I'll pass it back to Ron.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, John. Tonight we have a number of visitors, guest speakers, and I'd like to, I guess, start off with the folks from the Pennacook Lodge.
All right, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here with you all tonight. My name is Bogey. I'm a member of Troop 306 in Arlington, so I'm from the Sons of Liberty district, but I'm also the secretary of Pennacook Lodge. I'm sure many of you here are acquainted with the Order of the Arrow, but for any of you who aren't, the Order of the Arrow is Scouting's National Honor Society, and Pennacook Lodge is the group of those Order of the Arrow, those Scouting's Honor Society people from the from our council. So I do have a slideshow. Is there any way that I could get that shared like up
Sure.
on the screen? Awesome, thank you.
Make a co-host.
I can make you a host, Bogey. Hang on 2 seconds.
Awesome, thank you. And while we're doing that, one of our associate advisors, David O'Donnell, is here today. You'll hear me calling him DOD. So he'll be helping me out throughout my. Okay.
Can you share now?
Yes. I'm just not as tech savvy as I'd like to be.
It's coming in.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
right.
There you go. Wrong slideshow. Okay, I got it. Okay. So the main news is our unit election season is in full swing. It opened January 1st, so any unit leaders that are here, you should have gotten an email on the 1st of January and another follow-up pretty recently to schedule your unit election. That's the first step in troop members, crew members, ship members to joining the Order of the Arrow. There's a bit more information on the screen, and if you would like to schedule your unit election, you can do that if you find the link that we had sent to your, I believe it's your primary troop leader, so whether that's you or somebody else, you can either use that email, or you can email unitelections@oapennacook.org, and we can help you out there. We have 2 of our inductions, one in May, one in June, and then September 15th, the election season closes. We do still have one more induction in October, so if you, for some reason, don't get to scheduling that election until later, that's okay. But just so you know, any questions on that, clarifications? DOD, if you want to hop in, anything I missed?
You're
Awesome.
on point.
And then, there we go. Okay. We will also be hosting a Cinco de Mayo Pinewood Derby. Although I realized maybe, there's a lot of Pinewood Derbies happening that weekend. Anyway,
You
just
got
means
Sunday.
it's getting more fun. So we are hosting a Pinewood Derby. All scouts in the district, the council are able to come. We specifically we're kind of originally targeting this at scouts that are now part of the Scouts BSA program, older than 11, just as kind of like an opportunity as, hey, maybe you haven't done this in a bit. Here you go. You can, relive your childhood a bit. Myself specifically, this is really exciting for me because as a female in scouting, when I was Cub Scout age, females weren't allowed in scouting yet. So for me, this is, my first experience with the Pinewood Derby, which makes it really exciting. As you know, it'll be on the 5th of May at the Woburn American Legion. It's gonna be $20 per racer and $10 per non-racing attendee. We will have, it's Cinco de Mayo themed, so there will be a taco bar, some drinks. We will have cash prizes for winners. There will be 3 different age groups, so any adults, also Cub Scouts, very welcome to come. We're happy to have you. And the rules are just the BSA Cub Scout racing rules. And finally, we will also have some workshop dates. They're still TBD, but if you need help building a car, that's also available. You can register for that at oapennacook.org on our website, /registration if you like typing it in instead of navigating the website. And if you have any questions, you can email us program@oapennacook.org. If you just go to our website, there are many ways to send like messages that will go through to one of our members that can respond to you. So it should be fairly easy to get into communication with us if you have any questions or concerns. But is there anything any questions on
And
that?
I would just add that the goal of this fundraiser is kind of twofold. One is to help fund our NOAC trip, which is a National Order of the Hour conference out to Colorado this summer. This happens every 2 years. And also to replenish the general scholarship fund that we have in the lodge that helps, when people need some financial assistance for events and things like that. So it's twofold. So
Threefold, it's to have fun.
and indeed have fun.
There you go.
I haven't done a Pinewood in a long time. So
You can come and help me run mine on Saturday.
there you go.
Okay, just a quick question for you guys. If a scoutmaster has yet to contact you, can they still schedule an election?
Oh, yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. If I can go back to the first slide, the election season doesn't close until September 15th. So we still have time for sure.
And can you remind us all what the qualifications are?
So, well, for the Scouts to be elected, it's the rank of first class and their DOD, you might have to help me out with this one. This is not my area of expertise, but there's a certain amount of nights of camping within, I believe it's changed a bit because of COVID too.
Right. I think it's back to the pre-COVID measure. Honestly, I forget off the top of my head myself. But yeah, they have whatever the stand. We'll get that info to you, whatever the stand, unless someone knows here.
I do. It's 15 days of night camping in the last 2 years.
There you go.
At least,
Thank you.
and at most one being a long-term 5-night, 6-day program under the auspices of the Boy Scouts of America.
Thank you, Joe. I knew it was pre-COVID, then back, and kind of lost track of where it was.
Christian Klein has his hand raised. Christian, you have a question?
Thank you. So I have a couple of scouts who were elected into the OA last year and never took part in an ordeal. Are they still eligible for ordeal, or do they need to be voted again?
No, no, they're still. When were they elected?
They were elected this time last year.
Yeah, I think it's like 15 months.
You have 18 months.
Yeah, 18
18 months.
That
Yeah.
one I do know.
So they're good. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much.
And to follow up on Christian's question, if there's no limit to the number of qualified scouts that can be elected in a given season, is that correct?
Well, there is a formula that they have based on total number of candidates, right?
I believe so. I don't know if there's a cap on the youth, but there is the adult nominee
Right.
is
Yeah.
2/3 of however many.
Yeah, they could elect all the candidates that are put forward.
So Christian's 2 scouts who were elected wouldn't prevent others from being elected who were just eligible this year.
Correct.
Oh.
This is a separate election. Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions for folks for this?
Well, it was Boogie. Was there another slide, or was that it?
No, just
Okay.
that. Short
I
and
didn't
sweet.
know.
Okay. Wow, that's great, guys. Thank you for coming out to do this.
Good job, Boogie.
Okay. Thank
Wonderful.
you. And thank
Appreciate
you
it.
all. Those were good questions. So
Oh, back off, Steve. Backwards, one more. We still got 2 more. Yeah. Okay. I got an email from Jerry a few minutes ago. His daughter's parent-teacher conferences are tonight, so he's not going to be here. But as a Wood Badger, he asked me to give a little plug. We are having a Wood Badge course in Sons of in the Spirit of Adventure Council, there are 2 weekends, April 13th, 14th, May 18th, 19th at TL Store Scout Reservation. Registration is open now. This is a program for Scout leaders at all levels, Cub Scouts through Venturers, Sea Scouts. It's a wonderful program which focuses on making you a better leader. I think I'd like to ask Joe for a comment. I think you are the most recent member, the most recent beaver who has gotten completed wood badge. What did you think of it?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I did wood bats like 10 years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
You're high your age.
But I did just staff a course, and I can say that the changes that they made to the wood badge
Joe,
program.
I keep thinking you're the kid that calls us to attention at TL Store.
Well, that was also more than 10 years ago. But having recently served on a staff of a wood badge, I got to say they've really streamlined the whole process. There's a lot less fat on it, so it's no longer a 6-day course. It's only a 5-day course.
Right.
And frankly, just the most, I wish I had my beads on. I left them in the car from the Eagle board I did. But easily one of the best trainings that I've ever done in or out of scouting, and cannot recommend it highly enough.
You know, I think one of the wonderful things is the opportunity to interact with other scouters, especially on the camping weekend part of it. That really is a good way to understand how other leaders work, how their units work, to get some tricks to use within your own unit. So it's a good thing. If you haven't taken wood badge, I'd strongly encourage you to do it now. Okay.
You also realize that your unit isn't as messed up as you think it is watching other people.
Thank you, John. Yes, it makes you understand that Scouts BSA is a chaotic organization. Okay, then finally we have Ken Reardon, who's here to talk about an opportunity for training young youth leaders. Ken, thank you for coming out tonight.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Yeah, I'm having some computer issues, so I'm doing this with my phone. So thank you for having me speak. My name is Ken Reardon. I'm the Scoutmaster of Brownsea. Of course, now maybe I can't see you. Oh, I can't see you. You still got me. Okay. Sorry about that. Yep. So Brownsea, what is it? It's a youth training program. It's designed for those scouts, first class and above. It's not a first-year camping program, but designed for those scouts that are first class and above, looking for the best and brightest of your troop. The patrol leaders, the future assistant senior patrol leaders, the future senior patrol leaders of your units. The course will be offered June 23rd to June 29th at base camp. This will be the 4th year, I think, that we've been there. I've been all over between Massachusetts and New Hampshire. It's a great program. We have the program and it travels. It doesn't really matter where we're at. You must, well, I've already said first class and above. We focus on youth leadership training through the outdoor program, what I think is the core of scouting. So through hiking, camping, nature study, wilderness survival, pioneering, and orienteering, through those skills, we develop leadership. Everything is done through the patrol method. They live as patrol, they eat as patrols, they compete as patrols, and they learn as patrols. They actually probably learn more from each other than they do from the staff. I myself am a graduate of the program. I took the program back in 1986, and I've been on staff since 1987, and this is my 20 some odd year of being the Scoutmaster. I know the program works. It's a great program. I'd love to have some of your scouts attend. We do limit it to 32. Is there anybody that's not familiar with Brownsea? And I can go into more detail, but usually it's a lot of repeat, leaders, and they already know what the program can do.
Unlike NYLT, Ken, this is more based on skill-based, using skills and the skills that they would teach as patrol leaders, for example, to develop their leadership.
Correct. Yes. So good question. So Brown-C is really good for the scout that is more hands-on, action-oriented versus the scout that is a little bit more classroom-based. There's no PowerPoint presentations at Brown-C. There's only one sit-down teaching session. It's the first day. I teach it, and it lasts about an hour. Somebody I just saw popped up in the chat. The dates are June 23rd to June 29th. I did send out, my computer again is not working, so I apologize. The other day when I sent out to ask if I could join this conference call, I sent out a PDF to the organizer. I think it might have been Ron. And maybe he can forward that PDF into the chat for me. Would be much appreciated, because again, my computer's acting up for some reason.
I'm using a tablet up here. I can send it out to the attendees.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so no questions. Ken, I really appreciate you coming out to do this, and really appreciate your dedication to that program.
All righty. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Great. Steve, Mr. Clever is hiding here somewhere in the internet.
Yeah, he's come on out and show yourself, John.
I thought my screen was on. No.
There you are.
All right. How about that? Good evening, everybody. Great seeing everybody. And first off, I want to commend Bogey and her brothers, who have been doing an awesome job at the roundtables this past week. They've had representatives at all 6 of our roundtables over the past week, and you were spot on, Bogey, because I've seen this presentation now. This is the 6th time, so you did a great job and great information that you're sharing with the folks in the district, and doing an awesome job in serving our youth and serving our council. I also wanted to echo some of John Bull's remarks regarding chartering, and confirm that not only has everybody from the Sons of Liberty District turned in their charters and have had them processed, but the entire council has completed all their charters and got them processed before the March 1st deadline. So that is an incredible accomplishment, and it couldn't have been done without everybody's assistance and listening to me beg and plead on a monthly basis of please get it done, and all that sort of stuff. We're kind of joking at the office that it's kind of a weird feeling. Here we are in March, and we're not going, okay, did you hear from Troop 15 and what about Pack 37? And we need to get the Corey from that person. It's such a weird but refreshing feeling to have that all done and out of the way. I'm not bothering John Bull. Hey, did you hear from Pack such and such? And all those kind of things. So thanks again, everybody, for a great job. And the charter process is supposed to be even simpler next go around, and we'll learn more of the specifics over the next few months of exactly how that's going to play out. But in theory, what's going to happen is next October through December, the unit logs on, they confirm these are our leaders, make sure that all the minimum required slots are filled. They send in a check for $100, and that's chartering. So no more pouring through the lists and confirming, are you coming back? Are you not coming back? What happened to Jimmy? Is Sally joining again? Or all that kind of stuff. All that's going to be handled by the individual scouts and scout leaders on their own. There'll be a self-renewal process that happens throughout the fall. But the actual chartering is going to be just you got enough people? Are they all YPT trained and all that sort of stuff? Pay the $100 and be done with it. So that's we're looking forward to hopefully an even simpler process as the year rolls out. A couple of activities and things I just wanted to share. First off, we have the report to the Commonwealth. Date has been set for Tuesday, April 16th. It's going to be at the State House. There has been a few articles in the newsletter, and I think it's been shared on Facebook, the Facebook page as well, in terms of how to register. We're just asking people to sign up so we have an idea of how many people are going to be there. There's no cost for the event. It's a really neat experience. Scouts from all over Massachusetts come to the State House. We have an opening ceremony. We have a scout or two that presents the state of scouting in Massachusetts and all the different stats of how many scouts, how many eagles, how many merit badges, how many camping service hours, all sorts of stuff like that. And then at the end, all the scouts come down on the Senate floor and we take a big group picture, which is kind of neat. And then they're welcome to stay and tour the Capitol. And if they let their representatives know that they're going to be there, they might be able to get a special visit or tour with them. But it's a really neat experience. Originally, they wanted us to do it on Monday the 15th. And getting into Boston on Monday the 15th is probably not a simple task being Patriots Day. So with the marathon and all the other festivities going on, we said, can we do it maybe on Tuesday? And they said, okay, sure. So it'll be a little bit of an easier task to get into town for that at that point. First Saturday of April, and John talked about this a little bit, is the Commissioner College. It's at the Marshall Simons Middle School in Burlington, right off of 128. Great opportunity, brand new commissioners to get the initial training that you're looking for. Great opportunity for experienced commissioners to hone their skills or pick up some new topics that'll be taught. And it's also a great opportunity for any leaders that are just interested in learning more about scouting to go. You don't have to be a commissioner to attend. It's open to all registered adults. So feel free to come check it out. There's a whole bunch of different classes and courses and topics that are being taught. I think there's at least 6 different sessions, Joe. I think through the day, 5 or 6. So there's 5 or 6 different sessions to kind of to learn about. Touching on Wood Badge, we do have a Wood Badge reunion scheduled, dinner scheduled Saturday, March 30th, 5 o'clock at Base Camp in Milton. The only catch with that is it's during Easter weekend, so depending on what your church schedules are for Easter Saturday, may or may not interfere. And the other thing I was going to talk a little bit about, but I see I got a little sneak peek of the next slide, which is Joe talking about the Cub Scout new program rollout. So what I'm going to do instead of sharing and being redundant is I'd like everybody to raise their right hand and make the Scout sign. Okay, good. And just repeat after me, and I'll pretend like I hear you. You don't have to actually say it out loud, but I promise that I will listen to the information that Joe is going to share about the new Cub Scout program. That's going to be exciting and new and simple. And most importantly, I will not start doing the program until June 1st when it's official.
Whatever gets you through the day.
I promise. That's it. So, no, it's a really, I think a really good new streamlined program, and Joe will go into more of the specifics of it, but a lot more consistent, a lot more easy to follow. We had some ranks that had like 12, 13, 14 achievements, and some had 6, and some had first aid requirements, and others did not. Now there's going to be consistent topics, 5 or 6 topics that every single rank will do, just age appropriate. And it's going to be simple math, simple to do. But the most important thing right now is to finish the current program as is. Don't swap over to the new one. And I think that is all I have. Just want to thank you all for for what you've been doing. And I'll turn it back over to Ron.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the information. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, Joe.
Okay, so as everyone has hopefully heard by now, the Cub Scout program is changing. It's changing on June 1st and not a day before that. And it's a lot easier to think about these changes if you forget everything you know about Cub Scout. All right, Cub Scouting is gone and it's getting rebuilt from the ground up. That's not even a little bit true, but it's going to be easier to understand it. There are now 6 ranks: Lion, Tiger, Wolf, Bear, Webelos, Arrow of Light. Webelos is no longer a 2-year program. Bobcat, not a rank anymore, simply one of the required adventures. Each and every one of those ranks has 6 required adventures. Bobcat to focus on character and leadership. one focusing on the outdoors, one focusing on personal fitness, one focusing on citizenship, one focusing on personal safety, and one focusing on duty to God and duty to family. After completing those 6 required adventures and at least 2 elective adventures, your scout has earned the rank associated with their year. So lions will learn the lion rank, bears learn the bears rank, etc., etc. That is the big fundamentals of the program. So things like, when do you earn the Bobcat? Well, it's one of the required adventures now. It is that first required adventure where we sort of, because it didn't make sense to ask a 5th grader who was just joining the program to learn the Scout Oath and Law and all the complicated words of what it means to be obedient, and a kindergartner. So instead, there will be focused, age-appropriate requirements for each of them. A lot of Cub Scout awards are going away, mostly because no one did them anyway. I've got here from National, 1.5% of Cub Scouts earned any of them. So that's the Summertime Pack Award, the Outdoor Adventure Award. Those are all gone, and instead we're focusing on those adventures that everybody's going to earn. Big changes, timeline. One other big change is that dens for lions through Webelos can, if your chartered org says so, be co-ed, but Arrow of Light dens, because they're preparing for crossing over to Scouts BSA, where they'll be going to one troop or another, will be segregated by gender. So there've been a lot of these sort of Cub Chat lives. I think they've had 3 or 4 already. And they've talked about pretty much all of the things, but big things that you need to know going forward. They expect the handbooks to be available at your scout shops starting in April-ish is the last they told us. Position-specific training for den leaders, cub masters, pack committee chairs will update in May. You are not required to redo the training, but it will be useful. And then we expect Scout Book online advancement on all the online tools to update on June 1st when the new program takes effect. So it's a lot harder to conceptualize what the changes are and a lot easier to understand what the new program looks like. So your pack will have their Bobcat month. Your pack will have, it doesn't have to be in that order, but your pack could have an entire outdoor month where all kids at all ages are doing the outdoor stuff or the personal safety stuff, or maybe it's time for electives. They're all age appropriate. And it's always 6 required, 2 electives, 6 required, 2 electives to get into that rhythm that'll be going forward. But that is the main program. Again, the program does not change until June 1st. Do not do anything from the program until June 1st, but don't do the old program on June 1st, because there is a new program and we'll have all that information. So unless there are any questions,
Joe?
unless John wants to jump in and tell me stuff that I missed.
Joe, I have a question for you.
Of course.
Cub Scouting has always been kind of a school year based. So you can a scout or can a go-getter unit get somebody to go more than one rank in a year?
No, as has been the sort of policy for as long as I've ever heard of it. Kindergartners do lion stuff, and then when they're in 1st grade, when you're talking about a kid who's either whose age doesn't match up with the grade we expect them to be in. So we have, you know, an 8-year-old in 2nd grade or a 6-year-old in 2nd grade. That is the same policy. It has been. That's up to the parents, the unit, to figure out where that kid should go. But it would not be appropriate under the new program for a 5th grader to start working on Webelos and then go on to Arrow of Light, because that's just not what the program's built to do.
Okay.
And I'd say the only commentary that I was going to add in was, you know, some people are saying, well, what if I finish early with the whatever the rank is? What if I get the wolf badge and it's April? What do we do? work on some of the electives in the current program to kind of, like I say, kill time, but pass the time until the formal rollover. And that's the same kind of thing, you know, if someone joins in and is really active and gets it done super fast, just work on all the different electives, because there's going to be plenty of them, and will continue to be ones that they have had and will have.
Right. And I don't think that anyone really thinks that most of our Cub Scouts are there so that they can earn ranks. They're there to have fun with their den, to be prepared to get into scouting, and of course, to be prepared to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetime by being instilled the values of Scout Oath and Law. But there is still tons of Cub Scout stuff to do. I don't believe anything is changing when it comes to age-specific activities, age-appropriate activities. So there's still no reason to, if you guys do, build a snow fort every December, there's no reason why your pack needs to change that tradition just because of the new program. You guys can still go off and do the fun things that may not directly relate to rank advancement. You know, like the Pinewood Derby comes to
Right.
Joe, on the school, the conversion or promotion to the next rank.
Mhm.
I've always noticed this because when I was raised in Wisconsin, grade school got out, high school got out usually the first week in June. When I moved out here and I started teaching high school, we didn't get out till almost the end of June. And I think that the grade schools followed. I was teaching high school at the time. That month seems to me that could be a little messy if you've got a kid, second grader in the Midwest. He would be promoted right at the beginning of the month and would be therefore into the new program. But you could have a second grader here in New England still working on his requirements. He's still in second grade. And you're not allowing him to go to third grade stuff.
And my understanding is they're going to have accommodations for that, so that there'll be a little bit of a transition time for those in the later schedule versus those that are, or, you know, an earlier calendar based on where they live.
Okay.
Yes, like all things in Cub Scouts, we have a hard and fast rule that we are going to do our best to get around. So just like John said, the stuff we're getting from National seems to indicate that there is a little bit of leeway when it comes to that. But if you can push and get those kids their ranks by the end of May, that is going to be way better for everybody, because then you don't have to deal with that wiggle room, that fuzziness.
Glad they were thinking about
it. I guess, Joe that Joe and John, the thing that I would be worried about is if a program ends that early, and you don't have a summertime pack award, how do you keep this thing continuous?
The answer is to have summertime pack activities. What National has seen is that the summertime pack award and the Cub Scout outdoor activity award and stuff was not being a useful tool in getting packs to meet over the summer, to getting the packs to go into the outdoors. So they're trying something else. And we'll see if that works, but there's exactly no reason why, if your pack has a June camping trip, they do a June family camp, they always do, that they can't continue doing that. There will be no change to what is and is not appropriate for Cub Scouts to do.
Yeah, I truly wonder how many packs in fact do keep operating over the summer. I don't know if anybody has any comments on that who are attending tonight.
I can make a suggestion. They could spend the summer building a chuck wagon so that they can attend and participate in the chuck wagon derby at the very beginning of the school year, September, as a first-time activity, which might help draw in new scouts.
Is something on the book scheduled, John?
Not right now, but I've been trying to pull it off. for the last few years, haven't gotten, no pun intended, but traction on getting people to actually build those wagons. Because it doesn't have to be only one wagon of any kind from a pack. They can have one from every level if they choose to, and even more than that. We've been lucky in the past, and it's been a long time since we've had one, to get even one wagon of any kind, whether it's a flyer, red wagon, or something that actually got built.
We have a question from Meredith.
Got to turn on your mic.
Sorry, technical difficulties. So our pack does fishing derby in June. Typically, I think somebody organizes a trip to a baseball game in July, and then in August we do a rain gutter regatta. Rather than using the kits, we have the kids build stuff out of recycled materials, and we sort of use it as a recruiting event. People bring their friends. It ends up being a really well-attended event.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. That's wonderful. Because obviously, Scouts BSA program, we have things going 12 months a year. But I've in the Chelsea Everett area, very often the packs were shutting down at the end of the school year and reactivating in September, which I think caused a lot of shrinkage. As kids got less interested, if you will. Thank you, Meredith. I appreciate that. Okay, Joe, this thing turned up in one of the Scout email things, and it's like I'm not quite sure what's the problem here.
Well, Scouts BSA is scary.
Yeah, one of the email handouts just came out like 5 concerns parents might have, and I looked at it and said, "Oh my God, what is people worried about?" And some of them seem kind of silly, like, where is my Weeblo STEM leader going to go? Well, I'm not sure. And if the kids have been in the den since they were in kindergarten, and now they're going to get split up because Johnny's going to troop this and Billy's going to troop that, and how is that going to work? Are these real concerns, or is this something that somebody who had to write a column wrote?
None of those 5 concerns I ever saw when I was running a pack.
That's what okay. I think to me, the critical thing is that from the Scouts BSA perspective, is having a good relationship with the pack and the pack leadership, either through den chiefs or shared activities. And I just wonder if other leaders who are here tonight to chime in. What's your experience?
The biggest confusion I've seen at the actual crossover ceremonies is whether or not the family is going to cross over the bridge with the cub.
Oh boy.
It gives you a clue as to what is important to some people, and how involved the family is, and actually if anybody did a rehearsal.
John, that's a key point. I think that's awesome. The family should cross over because they're all moving to scouting.
Right.
Meredith,
That's
go
my
ahead.
feeling.
Meredith, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, so I am currently a Weeblos leader, and actually my husband is the scoutmaster in our town. So the biggest concern that my scouts really have, or my scout families do, is more just the added intensity of the program, and with added commitments with sports getting more intense and other activities, trying to find a way to balance it all. So we really try to work with families to help them understand what they're signing up for.
Yeah.
I think it's better now, but I think the other issue was that during those COVID years, we had a whole group of scouts that didn't really get a whole lot of experience with things like sleepovers and outdoor campouts and things with friends. So they didn't have a great transition, all of them, from going to campouts without their parents present. So that was a learning curve for us as well, helping scouts get ready for troop type campouts where they're not going to have their parents with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's one of the big changes. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. You know, speaking of crossing over, one time at base camp we built a monkey bridge, and certainly all the Cubs crossed over, and quite a few of the parents wanted to cross over on that thing.
Make sure there's no weight limit.
Who built the bridge? The Cub leaders or the Boy Scouts?
The Boy Scouts built it.
There you go. Then it should be able to handle the adults.
Yeah, we really were careful about that. Yes, and it was no more than 4 feet off the ground. So before somebody gets me on that point. Christian, how does your unit interact with the Cub Den, with the Cub Pack?
So we will, it's funny, next month we'll have the first den chief we've had in about 4 years.
They're
who's going to be working.
They're not common. Yeah, right.
So we have a scout who is going to be joining the Webelos den. So he'll be with the Arrow of Lights next year, to do that, to help with that transition. We always get in touch with the Webelos leaders, the Arrow of Light leaders in the fall. We invite them to a camp out every November, because it's warm enough still in November that it's not too scary for the Cub Scouts. So they'll come and camp with us, and then we have them back to a meeting in February. It's sort of the cycle that we typically work on, and just keeping open communication with the AOL leaders. So PAC 313 does actually have a very large number of Webelos this year, but they're going in 3 different places. So a bunch of them are going to Lexington, one is going to Billerica, and then there's 5 that are crossing over to our troop.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a little bit confusing, I think, crossing over the bridge as to who's going where.
Well, you could have 3 off ramps.
I think we're going to need signage, I think.
Right. Their first orienteering adventure, go to the right troop.
Do you have all
right?
three?
Anyone going to troop 313, cross the bridge and then hit bearing 313 on your compass, and you head that way.
There you go.
Christian, well, actually, Meredith, where'd you go? If you have more than one troop that the Arrow of Light Scouts are going to, do you invite them all or have them all at the same single crossover?
So, we actually haven't had that come up, well, a little bit. So the only real difference we have is that we are starting to graduate girls from AOL into the troop. So we'll have both the girl troop leaders and the boy troop leaders both come. But we're actually, no, I think we're on track if everybody follows through to have all 10 of our boys go into the boys troop and the 2 girls head into the girls troop next year, but we'll have probably both in attendance.
Okay. Which pack are you with?
So pack 81 in Topsfield.
Topsfield. Oh, okay. Not in our district. That's why I didn't recognize you.
Yeah.
Glad to have you with us.
I'm glad you came.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are online. It makes it a lot easier to get here.
I think it's a valuable feature. And the other thing, you could let people know that it is recorded, it is on YouTube. So people want to catch up, they still have an opportunity, even though Thursday night is bad for them. Okay. So, yeah, I think we can.
Oh, can I ask a question of Jonathan Plevo?
Sure.
Is he still with it? There you go. I'm only seeing 5 faces on my screen here because there's something displayed on the rest of it. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. With the changeover of the computer system at National, are we now able to add new people? Because I was told to wait, I shouldn't add anybody until the rechartering got finished.
Yes, so you
And-
you can have them sign up. It's all online registration now, so have them do that, and that should now, the rosters have been adjusted accordingly, and now it's waiting for new people to be added. So by all means, have them sign
Okay,
up.
fire away.
That actually, I apologize. That reminds me, I skipped right over that one thing I wanted to share with the group. If I can have 2 minutes, the new adult registration approval process has gone into effect starting March 1st. And the way it'll work is the new leader, prospective leader, goes online, fills out the registration form, hits submit, does their query through the JOT form, takes youth protection training, all that stuff gets done. The unit reviews it and says, yep, we want this person to join us as a den leader. Great. When they go to hit approve, there will be a moment in time where that person is put on pending status. And that means they're not yet eligible to start serving in whatever role they're signing up for. They're not an official leader yet. It's pending the national background check being cleared. And I have I'll try to show examples as best I can. There's going to be one email that gets sent out to the individual and the key 3. Looks kind of like this. Sorry, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
And basically says, thank you for signing up with the Boy Scouts of America. Your background check is pending right now. At this point, you're not eligible to meet with youth until the background check is cleared. And so that's the first step, and it's an indication to the key 3 saying, okay, such and such is application is working its way through the system. Once the background check is completed and deemed clean, they'll get a similar looking email,
Registration.
kind of like that, and it's going to say, dear such and such, thank you for registering with the Boy Scouts of America. Your background check is cleared and you're now an approved leader of the Boy Scouts of America. So that's the green light at that point to start hitting the ground running as whatever they just signed up to do. If for some reason there's something in their background that gets flagged, and I haven't seen the message yet, but there'll be a similar message, but saying, hold on, you got to talk to the council before you can pass go. So if you are signing up people to help with upcoming camping events, and you want to get them, make sure they're on the books and make sure they're registered and legal and all that sort of stuff, I would not have them go through the process on a Thursday before that weekend. I would give them about a week turnaround time just to make sure that there's enough time to clear the background check. It is a pretty quick process when it's all clicking through, but you don't want to roll the dice and lose that. Oh, I'll have them sign up on Thursday and they'll be good by Friday morning, so they can go Friday night. I'd give it a little bit more of a window to play around with. But again, the important part is to make sure that you get that your approved notice. You're now legal. You're now good to go. Otherwise, you're not supposed to be interacting with the kids in a leadership capacity. The parents of can be there in a parental capacity, but not as a formal leader capacity. So,
Jonathan, is that a similar process for district volunteers?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Any adult, I suspect.
And the way it's happening on the Corey side of things, because that's a Massachusetts thing, that's something that Spirit Adventure has to manage and kind of handle. And when a leader's not background youth protection training expires, they're put in a suspension state, and that's until they renew their youth protection training. And what we're doing, and we just resumed it now the charter season is done. Mary Ann Baker, the council's vice president of health and safety, is sending out notices about 20 to 30 days prior to when an individual's youth protection is expiring, saying, hey, heads up, your YPT is about to expire. Once that happens, you'll be suspended until you renew your training. And she's copying the unit key 3 at the same time. Fast forward those 20 or 30 days. If they don't renew their YPT in time, Denise, within about a week or so, we run the reports every Monday or Tuesday, so there may be a couple days lag, but not more than that. We'll formally suspend the person, send them a notice saying, hey, your YPT's expired, you can't resume activity until you renew, please email us a copy of the completion certificate so that we know that you've completed it. That notification gets sent to the Key 3 as well. We found as the year went further along, closer to summertime, fall, those people with expired YPTs were people that were not continuing. So there was a bigger list of suspended people. The folks that are getting suspended now are renewing much quicker because they are just ones that are of a timing. Oh, I took it in April and now it's come and gone. I got to renew. That sort of thing.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Hey, Ron,
Okay,
Ron, I
yes,
just, give you a heads up that it is,
we're running out of time. Yes.
time. We have more slides to go through.
We can do this. So, the advertised Scout BSA breakout was looking at environmental science and sustainability. And there are tremendous resources on the internet that are available to Scouts who are working on these programs. And I pulled, whoa, back, Steve. I pulled this out. This little guy in the corner is a piping plover. They're a tiny bird that nest on stony beaches. And the guy below him is about a 3-day-old chick who's already running around looking for food. And you can see here the red line showing how the count, since there have been beach closures and a serious attempt to make habitat available to these birds, you can see from the red line how the number of pairs nesting in Massachusetts has skyrocketed in the past 24 years, from 1990 until now. 1,000 pairs of plovers are in the state last year. Now, is that good or bad? Well, in fact, they're not doing too good on reproduction. The average productivity is the blue line. It's about 1.2 chicks per couple. And this year's been, 2023 has been particularly bad. There's no data yet, but because it was such a wet spring, a lot of nests failed. In our town in Winthrop, there was one pair that produced 5 chicks successfully that fledged, but a lot of nests that produced 0. And that's why you get this 1.2 productivity. This is an activity trying to conserve the species that's being done all along the East Coast, up and down the coast. And as you can see, it's sort of doing, if you look at the change over a 20-year period. Scout who wants to do this in both environmental science and in sustainability, there are requirements that would utilize this kind of information. If you look at Mass government website, you can get a list of the species that are endangered, of special concern, endangered. And each one of them has a very detailed download describing the species, what they require. So it's something that should be pretty easy for Scouts to do. Joe, is there anything Cub Scouts that this would be relevant to?
Maybe. It's a new program.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, in the old program, I think there's like some things where it's discussions, but nothing that's going to look into data like this or ask them to actually do anything about species decline.
Okay, because I tried to look through the current requirements, and besides getting kind of confused. Yeah. Okay. So that's one area that you can help Scouts with. We're working on those merit badges. Environmental science, conserving resources, and energy conservation. If you haven't done it, go to Mass Save. They will do a free energy assessment for your house. Bring the Scout along to watch. They will talk about the effect of things like insulation, the heating source, fuel usage, quality of your windows, switching over to LED lights and other methods to save energy. So it's very valuable for the parents and a great learning experience for the Scout. All levels, I think, Joe. The other thing is they have programs, or I think they still have programs where they will help you do things like insulate your home. There's a program that if you decide to install a heat pump, an electric heat pump, to get away from oil or gas fired heat and cooling, they'll help you with that financially.
Yeah,
And
Ron, I can attest personally, my son did this, and they came out, they did the evaluation. There's a lot of paperwork to fill out, but it's not too bad. It's online. And there was so there were two steps to it. The insulation, which was actually 100% covered by Mass Save, and then there was the installation of the heat pump, which we received a $10,000 rebate, and the balance of, so the whole job basically cost $25,000. The installation of the heat pump basically cost $25,000. Heat pump air conditioning unit, right? $10,000 rebate, and the balance of it was a interest-free loan. So with, like, I don't know, 10 years to pay it off. It was so $13,000 basically on the interest-free loan, and it was like $165 a month, paying off with interest.
at 0% loan.
0%, yeah, interest-free really makes a difference, right? Because nobody likes to think about the fact that, if you buy a car for $25,000, you're probably paying like $35,000 when you get done, with the interest, and the same thing for a home. So making those loans interest-free really make a difference.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. And the insulation was free. And it might have been because he's actually renting the house from me. And I think the Commonwealth really wants renters to have well-insulated apartments. So they'll do it, even though it sort of technically benefits the landlord, person who really experiences the benefit is the tenant. Because
the tenant,
yeah.
No, both of our sons did the furnace, high efficiency furnace replacement with 0% interest loans. And Kathy and I insulated the house, the attic, the walls, and I think it was much less than half the cost that we paid. So yeah, it makes a big difference. And they give you the free LED light bulbs in the course of this thing. Discounts on thermostats and stuff like that. So even if you don't have a scout working on these merit badges, the parents should look into this.
And I will say, and this is not really the topic, but I think from an educational point of view, it's interesting because my first reaction was electric heat is inefficient, but I was corrected because I was thinking back to the 70s and 60s and 70s when Mass Electric came out with the all-electric house, and the electric heat in those days was radiant heat, and that was highly efficient because you just had basically these glorified light bulb elements, glowing all over the place. But the heat pump is a much more efficient machine, and it will cover its own cost over time compared to oil. I mean, there's still burning fossil fuels to make the electricity, but I think there's a benefit to reducing home heating.
I'm not sure about that now because here in Maine, 60% of the electricity is now generated from renewable sources. So that's changing rapidly. They're really pushing heat pumps here.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So do you want to go to the next slide?
Yep, please.
Can I make
Okay.
I also had what we call it mini splits, two of them put in under the same program, and the guy from Mass Save came and first did the survey with an infrared camera, I guess. He was looking around. He did not give me any LED bulbs though, because I said I have some other ones are still compact fluorescents, and he still wouldn't give me any bulbs. But the worst, actually, that's not so bad, but the heat pumps now, my electric bill in the winter went through the roof compared to what we've had in the past. Because we have solar panels as well on the top of the roof, so we get less generation in the winter. And it went over 400 kilowatt hours the winter months
But you
because
really
these
compare the cost
these
to-
splits cooking away, trying to keep the upstairs heated. And it's only the upstairs. We did not do whole house, so we did not get the full discount, or what, no, it was the return from Mass Save through the state. And we had to fight quite a bit because they insisted we get a thermostat installed as part of the whole package. And we already have a thermostat controls the oil-fired furnace downstairs, oil-fired steam, and it took a bit there. So we did not have the best experience, but in the summer, it's great having the upstairs air conditioned.
Yeah.
I don't care how high the electric bills go then, but I was surprised with the winter.
And then the other thing to talk about with the Scouts, of course, is the notion of recycling. And as you can see, Suffolk County is the worst for recycling in the state of Massachusetts. This is from a person's senior honors thesis at WPI, but it's a very nice display that, as you can see, that somewhere around 30, I think 36% is the average percent of waste that's actually recycled nationwide and in the state. And you can see that some states do, some of the counties in Massachusetts do much better than others. This too ties into a couple of the requirements for both of those merit badges. So, encouraging the Scout to monitor the amount of recycling and composting that a family does is appropriate. Okay, Steve, last slide, just a reminder slide.
You get a question from Mr. Tumlin.
Yeah, John.
I used to work for City Hall here in Everett, and we discovered something that just about 6 months before I left. We got the recycle bin and the trash bin, right? They go in different trucks. They all end up at the same facility.
Does the plastic get discarded?
It all goes to the same belt. Same door, same entry, same everything.
Oh, that's awful.
Yep.
Well, the Scout and the family can at least try.
That's it.
All right. Well, just to remind you, before the next roundtable, there's going to be a solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024. And in Boston area, it's still going to be impressive. About 92% of the sun will be covered by the moon. So it'll be a very impressive thing to do. Scouts should certainly think about making a pinhole projector. You could do that at a meeting so that they can watch the solar eclipse safely. It is important, if you're going to look directly, to have appropriate safety glasses. And that too, there's a standard, the International Standards Organization, 12312 standard, which tells you what the characteristics of that should be. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. That's where we're about ready to wrap up at 8:52.
Ron, was that slide supposed to say pinhole projection, not protection?
Yeah. Pinhole projection, yes.
Projection, yeah. I suggest using 2 mirrors inside the box to enlarge the image, although it does make it duller.
Can do that. Yeah, there are plans, yes, numbers of plans out there that you can use. Yeah. To tell you the truth, I've done it as simple as punching a hole and having a white reflective surface a distance away from it. Mm-hmm. That's all assuming it doesn't rain that day. Okay, well, thanks, everybody. And that's it for the breakout. Steve, we're done.
Excellent, and we give people 7 minutes back in their evening. Don't forget that all of these the recordings for the roundtable are posted on the YouTube channel. If you the email that goes out to remind everybody about roundtable has a link at the end of it where you can go see them. The URL string, I can't really recite it off to you, and I'm not sure what'll happen if you search for Sons of Liberty on YouTube. You might end up with all kinds of Sam Adams stuff. But there, Mr. Tumblin raised his hand, I think.
Thanks, Steve. This has got to do with my official position as SOL advancement chair.
Go right ahead.
Tuesday night, we had 2 Eagle boards of review, and we promoted 2 scouts to Eagle. The first one being Luke, I can't pronounce this name, I'm going to try real hard. Luke Argenheister from Troop 615 in Melrose. And the second one being Ben Lagasse, also from Troop 615 in Melrose. So big congratulations go out to those 2 scouts.
Well done, Melrose. Thank you for sharing that. Always great to hatch a couple more eagles.
We have 1 more scout that's going to go before a board later in the month, and the board queue is empty. I got a couple of new projects in today, as a matter of fact. So the weather's turning nice, so the kids must be thinking about going out and working on their projects.
And to that end as well, we mentioned it previously in Roundtable, but it bears repeating. There's a video also on YouTube that it actually features John and Tumblin and Ron Hansen and myself discussing Eagle projects and the Eagle Board of Review, the Eagle rank application, trying very hard to encourage the proper approach to Eagle projects and to the completeness of Eagle rank applications. It's important that unit leaders don't just pass along the Eagle projects, that they actually review them and encourage the scout to make sure that it's a complete project and that it meets the standards as explained at length in the project workbook. So we encourage you to watch that video and share it with your Life Scouts and Star Scouts, as well as their parents and other leaders in your unit, because we think that it should be helpful.
That's also available on the Sons of Liberty page. There's a link to it on the Sons of Liberty on our webpage.
Yes, we have a link to it from there as well, and there's also links to some project examples. So in case kids are curious about what's an Eagle project look like. Some units don't have a lot of experience with Eagle Scouts, and so this sort of institutional knowledge, if you will, isn't there. And it's helpful to have those examples around. So I thank you, Mr. Bowl, our district commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Hansen, our roundtable commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Pleva. Thank you, Bogey, if you're still with us. And thank you all for attending. Next month, what's the date for a roundtable next month? April
10th.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. Second Thursday, April 11th. Okay, have a good night, everybody, and see you next month.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Okay.